Hello, space engineers, young and old, and experienced, inexperienced, what have you. Um, this is just going to be a short video. I want to show off a design idea um, in my little workshop area. I'm in creative mode. Um, there we go. My little laser pointer. All right, so because I noticed that some of my favorite uh, space engineer streamers are doing a new or at the in the process of building a land carrier type thing. I present to you a layout. Don't worry about how ugly it looks because it's not done. Um, but this is the layout that I've come up with that keeps everything low center of gravity. Um, and it's extendable. Now, how you go about extending it is up to you. This is not much longer than what they have currently, and they want to get larger anyway. So this allows for that. You can widen it out. You can. I wouldn't necessarily make it any longer because you're talking about having aircraft and stuff like that. So I would tend to widen this out instead of lengthening it much, because it's still in my original design that I did. This is actually like 4 blocks longer, and then I gooseneck up and put the control seat on a gooseneck overlooking everything. It makes visibility a whole lot better. Puts it actually, if you were to put the spotlights here, and then gooseneck up and had the cab in front of the spotlights, then you would be able to actually see everything that's coming right up to your vehicle. So let me go through this real quick. We've recessed in by one because you don't need to access this under here. We've recessed in by, let me out of here, thank you, the refinery. And we've laid it so that you could lay it either way, but you have access back here. This is the center line of my vehicle. Okay, you have cargo access back here for dumping your ores and stuff in. You have 2 small cargo containers in front. This separates the refinery from your assembler. The assembler, we have left a hole down here so you can put your 4th module on, and so you can have all 4 modules on the assembler. Then in front of the assembler we have an O2H2. Now you can set this up, you can make this one longer, put this in between the assembler and the O2H2, and you can stack them and have multiple O2H2s. And the reason I say that is because you have your hydrogen engine here, and it's mirrored underneath with another hydrogen engine underside. So that gives you 2 hydrogen engines, which should, if you can keep enough hydrogen on board, keep those batteries fairly charged even when you can't get alternate power. So I would suggest possibly separating the O2H2 and the assembler with the conveyor junction, and then you can stack multiple conveyor junctions on and put a couple of more O2H2 gens. You can also on the ends of each of the O2H2 gens put you a hydrogen tank so that when you don't have ice on hand, you still have some hydrogen. And since you're planning on taking it into space, keep you a couple of oxygen tanks there. And then I put a large cargo container here, again recessed one into so it's actually poking through the bottom, so you can access from below. And when this is on the ground with 5x5 wheels, you can reach this, even on default wheel settings, where they're not all the way high, they're not all the way low, they're somewhere in the middle. You can still reach that. So you can still access for your hydrogen tanks and stuff like that. You can still deal with it. Like I said, I have two small containers back here, which is what I started with, and then under the hydrogen O2H2 gen, I had stuck another small container to reach from the bottom, and then I said, you know what, I can actually recess a large container in here. So when you're using this and you have Izzy's uh, inventory manager, okay, then you just, one of these is your tools and bottles and ammo and that kind of stuff, and the other one can be, I don't know, whatever. But then everything else pretty much goes in here. I mean, a large cargo container actually has, and I think I'm on vanilla, which would be containers would be realistic. And so at realistic, you have almost 500,000 liters of space in here. And most people tend to run this at times 3 or times 5 anyway. But this is times 1. Pardon me. My throat was getting a little dry. And then in the framework, you have space for some batteries. Now you can do this however you want. Feasibly, you could remove that one, and you could remove that one, and you could put another hydrogen engine back to this one, which this one is exactly mirrored of the one on top, so that its front connector passes through. And then it's attached up here to that conveyor junction. If you drop that conveyor junction down, you just have to 90 into the side. However, on this side, you have your med bay, which has to be attached to the top or bottom. I would definitely have more than 2 batteries, because 2 batteries running 16 freaking wheels, even 3x3s, those 2 batteries are going to die in an hour. Easy. Plus all your other stuff, you're going to be doing refining, you're going to be doing assembling, you got to run your med bay or survival kit, So yeah, 2 batteries is not going to be enough in long haul. But yeah, this keeps things down low. I noticed. And the reason I'm saying this is because you guys, so far they have a layer of armor, then they have a refinery, then they have the upgrades. So now you're 3 above this deck right here. And it's going to be so top heavy. The other thing is turn off braking on your front wheels, at least the very, very front ones. Don't have them brake. Because if you have them brake, and the way you have the vehicle set up, all the weight being in the back of that vehicle, that weight is going to want to keep going forward, even though your forward wheels are stopped. So you're going to tend to flip ass over tea kettle if you have the front 2 wheels braking. That's pretty much. And here is my. The wind turbine tower would go here on this block. I'll go up and do it. But this is the basics of the lockdown power mechanism. Even I set the 3x3s on here and I stuck them under, which is what you guys are actually down another block. So um, this thing clears, and the way you have it set up now, you have to actually hard connect your landing gear to the rover because your wind turbines won't get you any power if you're not on the same grid. Right there, that little bad boy right there makes it a separate grid. um, so this is how I do it, um, and it works. I actually have this rover in my solo game that I'm doing. It's a test game. It's kind of like a test play um, for different NPC mods and so forth and so on. Now, one of the other benefits here, one of the other things that could be done is this could actually be piped, or even put a on top of this, put a junction so that on either side, the right side and left side, this would normally be in the center, but because I have this here, I can't put that there. Um, so on either side of the junction, you could put a Gatling for the rear defense, and it would cover the entire arc on both sides. They'd have to actually come right smooth up the middle. But even coming up the middle of this, let me see if I can get myself right here. Even coming up the middle of this, at some point in your approach, you are in the de-elevation of I don't know the word for it, the of the Gatlings, because the Gatlings can aim down only so far, and it's not very far at all. But at some point in the approach, you would be in that arc that they can hit you with. Um, so yeah, and then you jam one on here, and you pipe that sucker. I'd bring it to right like here, maybe, because you don't need access here. You have it right there, or bring it to the tops of the cargo containers, because you're going to be right down the center anyway. So you just come up a couple, come over, pipe it in, put you a junction here, and be able to fire on either side of your tower. Then you have where these junctions are. You have room for a centerline top turret, and on top of here you have room for a centerline top turret. So you could have sufficient defenses. You could even go so far as to pipe this out, step over, step down, and with this some catwalks, get up and over bring this out and put side gats on either side of that. There's plenty of options to give your main grid defenses. But that's let me see. Okay, there we go. That is the layout that I think would work for Wrong Way Up. Like I said, it's expandable, it's rearrangeable a little bit, but the main thing is for the refinery and a large cargo container to be recessed one, so that the cargo access is right on your main deck, and then leave a hole for your assembler down below, because I know how. Well, two things I do know. Splitsy likes to greeble under here, especially around the wheels, and Spacebar will eventually, or not Spacebar, my bad. I'm so sorry, dude. Textfire will at some point get bored, and he'll get down here and he'll start greebling this stuff up anyway. So there you go. That's my pitch. That's my offering to you guys from Many real world years of experience. Like I said, turn the brakes off on the very front row of wheels, or else your weight in the design that you have, the weight from your refinery and all the cargo being back here, that weight will flip you ass over tea kettle going downhill. It may do so just on flat terrain, but I guarantee you, going downhill on anything more than about a 10-degree incline, you hit the brakes with the front wheels being able to brake, you're going to go head over heels, or ass over tea kettle. Thank you for watching.